Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Mardek, and last time we met this Clavis character, and don't really know what to make of him. He was rather mysterious, and talked a lot about keystones, whatever that's all about. And here we find we have another very large area, 7 chests, and more of these indicators here, which, as I was saying earlier, are basically little switches that we turn off or on that give us access to additional areas, and perhaps another priest here. Hello? You're... Oh! You must be sent to rescue me. Yes, we are. Momana? Is this warpstone for me? Thanks. You're a really kind person. I'll, bye. See you at the top. If only it were that easy for us, too. And more books that we cannot read. Those priests, they're just such good readers. And we have another fight against Sekels here, and I think we've established that Lightning Bolt is the way to go against them, and we're not so sure that we can take them out if we were to try to attack all of them at once with Charla, but we can at least get one down. I think it's the same deal with Donovan here, deliberately targeting the one with the most HP, and dealt a lot of damage to Charla, and reduced her speed quite a bit. Now, we are pretty sure that Mardek's also going to be able to take this guy out in one hit. However, might this still be reason to take this opportunity to heal a little bit for Charla? Maybe that's worth giving a shot. Or, perhaps, just doing a little bit of regen, mastering that ability as well, or at least getting closer to it. We have not used it much yet, so we're ways away. And given how Charla got slowed down a lot, Donovan is actually going before her this time. But no problem. That does, of course, mean that the regen didn't have time to take effect, because Charlotte didn't actually take her turn. So let's make sure that, well, do we need to heal her? I mean, it wasn't a lot of damage that she took, but at only 300 HP, she's just so vulnerable. I'm going to pass for now, but let's bear that in mind, that whenever she does next get hit, we probably are going to want to heal her promptly. It looks like this way up here leads around and into the next area, given how there's this blue indicator here, which is usually the sign of a door. So, since we have not yet picked up any chests, let's try going in a different direction. And more of the stones. And remember that the topaz... Oh, not healing wind. Let's use the offensive one. Remember that the topaz is going to heal against earth damage, so we definitely don't want to target that with Charla. However, the topaz is weak to fire, so that might make it a good target for Donovan, and I'm curious as to whether he can take it out in one hit with a physical attack. Very much cannot. Oh, and if I had checked, I'm pretty sure we would have seen that these guys have very high physical defense. Yeah, we should have known that. My curiosity got the better of me. What can I say? And so Charlotte did get hit twice there, and therefore it definitely seems like it is time to give her some of that healing we were talking about earlier. Still can get her up to full HP, so that's nice. And she should be able to take down the Moonstone here, I would think. That she can. And Donovan, let's learn from our mistakes here. Not get too clever, and instead just go with the flame. Okay, and we got another Moonstone. That is the type of stone that we put on Mardek to learn that regen ability. So, it seems like, based on the description at least, that it was not something that's particularly rare. I think it's going to be a reasonably likely drop to get from some of those enemies there that we're going to encounter fairly often. Another priest. This time, Priest Akmel. Finally! I've been waiting for someone to come and find me for ages. Thought they'd just forgotten about me. How do you plan to get out of here? Oh, a warpstone? That's reasonable. Hand it to me, if you will, and I shall promptly use it to escape this place. Thank you, and farewell. Alright. And I'm pretty sure we're starting to run out of priests here. That might have even been the last one. Here we have a Phoenix down, which we had to use one on Charlotte not that long ago, which was not great, given how I'm pretty sure it was just against more or less a normal enemy. So normally we'd want to be a little bit mindful of saving those. And like I was saying before, it's going to be pretty common for us to run into these guys here. Let's be smarter this time. Take out the topaz immediately, and this time it targets Donovan, who has a little bit more HP. And since Mardek is light elemental with his attacks, and that would heal the Moonstone, probably means that it doesn't make sense to take this turn, try to deal damage with Mardek. So again, let's work on regen. In all likelihood, Donovan will not take his turn before we finish this fight, and therefore won't actually regen any HP from that, unless, of course, we deliberately, and by deliberately I mean accidentally, use a physical attack in order to allow Donovan to take that turn, in which case he gets a small HP boost. Still, definitely not full, so it would have been more efficient, at least from purely a healing standpoint, to use the healing ability, but we're mostly just doing that regen stuff to help master that ability, and as we saw, those items are going to be fairly common for us to come across. Here's one of those little switches that we've now activated, the red one, and I think we would have found that if we had tried to go down through some of these areas here where we see those orangish indicators for chests, we might not have been able to go through there. They might have been blocked off. Now that we've flipped that switch, we should have access to more of them. I'd love to say that that was intentional that we went that way first, but it is probably just complete and utter luck that we happened to go down a way where we could easily flip one of those switches and not have to worry about doubling back because we hit a wall. All right, more of the leech bats of the albino variety, and we were seeing that because they have somewhat decent magical defense, even though they have a bit of weakness to air, Charlotte was not necessarily guaranteed to take them all out here, at least the last time we faced them, and certainly not the case this time either. And despite being light elemental, they have some dark attacks that allow them to leech all the damage that we just dealt. So, they do not have any fire weakness, so Donovan is theoretically going to be not as well off as Charla. Could potentially go for a physical attack here, because we know that they, well, don't have much in the way of physical defenses, and they are light elemental, which means they do have some light resistance. However, they don't heal to it, they're just resistant, so Mardek probably could take this guy out here, I would think. Yep, okay. So, Charla could definitely take them out, would surely have enough damage if she were to use a physical attack. The only thing is, she would only be able to fight one at a time in that case, and that was part of the strength of using a magical skill, is that she would be able to hit them all simultaneously. So, not sure in that case. Would we rather take the sure thing and use a physical attack, or opt for the magical attack instead? Tough to say. Alright, so more really cold water here. Seems like everyone except for Mardek has it at this stage, so let's put some on Mardek in case we feel ourselves really needing that water damage on Mardek. This looks ever so slightly like it could potentially be a battle. It is. It is! Okay, so, Blood Lizards. I believe these were the ones that took Charla out previously. Charla is not on full HP right now, so that is definitely something to bear in mind. She doesn't have a lot of stuff to prevent herself from taking a lot of damage here, other than perhaps using a really cold water to take out a Blood Lizard, but even that I don't think it's going to do too much here, because, well, there's still two more of them. They are pretty weak to water, so that might be the best way to deal damage short term. Is it worthwhile? I suppose we could give it a shot and just see what it's all about. So there it is. It does deal enough damage to take them out. I would greatly prefer, yes, if you attack people other than Charla. She was the most vulnerable, and you have some fire resistance. Pretty high amount at that. Similarly, we could opt to use more really cold water. Donovan only has one at the moment, and it's a somewhat limited resource. I don't think it's going to be terribly expensive long term, but we didn't buy any from the priest up at the top level of the temple. So at this stage, probably best if we continue to hold on to it until we're really desperate. So, although it's not going to do much here, we'll use a little bit of flame. Mardek, he's our strongest offensive character. You definitely could one-shot this Blood Lizard. I think we do that. We could also justify perhaps giving Charla or Donovan, or even Mardek himself, a little bit of healing. But I'm hoping that we'll be okay here. I'm not sure that Charla is going to be able to take out this Blood Lizard, but it means that at least only one more is going to have the opportunity to go. And they attack Mardek, so not too concerned about that. We'll continue doing this. And we'll let Mardek take the glory here. So it definitely went better than it did the previous time we fought those guys. We got an Iron Spear. Let's take a closer look at that. And also, some passive skill masteries. Donovan getting the +1 strength and Charlotte getting +1 agility. Donovan also getting the offensive plus 20% fire magic reaction, which might be just in the nick of time. The reason I say that is, if we look at that spear we just picked up, it is a spear, meaning that it is something that either Charlotte or Donovan could equip. It has higher base damage than their starting spears. Their starting spears only have 22, whereas this one has 28. That's actually a pretty significant jump. It's a simple metal spear with no magical enchantments whatsoever, but it does still mean it has a lot of damage on it, and it does have several new active skills for either character. So this is definitely something we'll want to make sure that both of them have the opportunity to use. As for which one we want to prioritize, that might depend on who has already mastered their skills on their existing spear. Let's take a closer look at that. Donovan has mastered everything but Soul Strike, which would actually mean that he needs to do more physical attacks. My guess is it's likely the same for Charla. It is. So yeah, that does mean that theoretically we would like to sneak in more physical attacks if and when we get the opportunity to do so. So if we find ourselves in those situations similar to what we had at the end of that previous fight, where we're expecting Mardek to finish off the enemy, and we don't really need Charla or Donovan to deal much damage, then it might be worth just giving the enemy a poke here and there. It looks like on this occasion we actually want to go back up through that door that we were talking about earlier. It seems like we will end up doubling back through this area at some point and get to the other side. So, these Lupizars, they are very weak to air. Is that reason enough to use a physical attack? I still kind of don't think so. It's going to be harder to justify, I think, with Charla, because she has lower strength, so she deals lower damage when she's using the attacks. And she has higher spirit, so she's dealing more damage with the spells than Donovan does. Whereas Donovan, comparatively speaking, or these guys do have some fire resistance as well. So here's an instance of, I would expect either way, Donovan's not going to deal too much damage, unless he crits. Still not able to take one of these guys out. So I think what we do here is, now we can definitively get rid of this guy with Mardek. We know that Charla will be able to take this guy out. Well, he is weak to air. Maybe we could even pull it off with a physical attack. Again, a little clever here. Might come back to bite us. No, not this time. So there you go. Trying to weave in the opportunities here and there to get a little bit of those physical attacks in with our new characters, Donovan and Charla. And Lizard Tail, which is, you know, a little unpleasant, but is a crafting item. What I was alluding to earlier was that I think we actually do want to go through here, because I'm pretty sure that only then will we start to get access to this area down here. It looks like we can't get over there through here. There was water blocking us, and there's no other way connecting to it unless this area that's grayed out here also connects to it. So either way, it looks like we're headed back up. We'll check it out. Oh, except that means going here, actually. And this is the first time we've seen a Temperance. And these guys, they're quite different from any other enemy we will encounter, I think we'll find. So it is Earth Elemental. Watch that closely. It is actually something that varies depending on which one of these symbols you see at the top of the totem. So right now you see that the green one is at the top, meaning that this will be Earth Elemental. However, there will actually be different variants of this enemy. Ones with the yellow one up top, ones with the blue one up top, one with the orange ones up top, and that will dictate which element it is. So that means that it is very resistant, in fact heals a lot to earth damage, and is very weak to air, and that's actually rather convenient here because of course Charla will deal her fair share of air damage. Again, might we deliberately go for a physical attack rather than a spell? I think either way, in all likelihood, we're not going to be able to deal 800 damage before this guy goes. That is a ton of HP. So for that reason, I think we opt to go for the physical attacks. We're not going to take it out early. Then we'll squeeze in some of those. Slumber Gas. A little bit of damage. A lot of sleep. Mostly on Mardek, who miraculously immediately gets rid of it. I was going to say, he is the primary person who's going to be dealing the damages. So, that being said, this might actually be an interesting opportunity for us to take advantage of lots of things. Working on regen. maybe continuing to pepper away at these guys with physical attacks, working on the Soul Strike reactions with Donovan and Charla. And since the battle... Ooh, I missed that one. Since the battle will be longer, that means that the regen can actually do something this time around. Let's make it happen. Oh, no, don't do that. Physical attacks. Still second nature to use the spells instead. You see, that guy can also use physical attacks. It's a little weird, but it's a thing. Did we just get slammed by a totem pole? Yeah, apparently. And we see that, yeah, Donovan and Charla, the damage, ooh, missed that one just barely. The damage does slowly start to add up. Mardek, I believe, is still using the Geo Jacket and therefore actually healed when he got hit there. Fortunately, although that was a poison gas attack, it actually did not manage to poison anyone. So we could opt to heal here, if we felt so inclined. Mardek has mastered all of his other abilities other than regen. Don't remember if we can double regen on someone, and even though it's not going to do anything, and because Charla already has the regen status, it would, I think, still allow Mardek to use the skill one more time and therefore get a little closer to mastering it. So let's give it a shot. It will let us, and it does still count. So if that's truly the primary purpose for us doing this, then yeah, it works. And gives Charla and Donovan a little more time to regen that HP. Numbing gas, now that one is not good. That one, as we've established previously, is difficult to get rid of, the numb status effect. Fortunately, he did not manage to inflict it on anyone. It seems like those gas effects, for whatever reason, although they are affiliated with given status effects, are not very likely to inflict them. Lucky us. And there it goes. So I don't think that anyone's going to master their Soul Strike reactions there, but it'll get us a little bit closer. I don't think it takes too many attacks to master it, but they had done almost none to begin with, so it'll take a little while longer, I think. Here we have this other area, and down, I believe, is the way through the door. However, yes, as we anticipated, it might be that we can go into other areas. Over to the side here. Getting slight battle vibes from this chest. We'll see. No, not this time. False alarm. Actually, Mardek has the fewest better potions. That's a little bit odd. I suppose we'll stockpile them on him in that case. And still go further to the side here. I don't remember as to whether we want to go here first. There is a save crystal, which is a little alarming, given how that usually means something big is about to happen. And amethyst, we've not yet seen any of these. A colored variety of quartz, usually used to adorn jewelry or armor. It's superstitiously believed to protect from intoxication, but this has never been proven in the slightest. Let's take a closer look. So, despite being purple, it is actually air elemental, and it gives the clarity effect of all things, even though it seemed to suggest that poison, if anything, would be the thing that it would prevent us from getting. Clarity will actually be resisting confusion, which we've not seen much of. It is pretty much the only place we've seen it, or at least had the chance of seeing it, was actually against the undead zombie dragon back in Chapter 2. However, we found that even when it used its annoying gas attack, it still did not inflict that status effect, and that is largely the reason why I was saying previously that it seemed as though the zombie dragon was not as difficult as it used to be, because it used to be that it would almost always inflict confusion on you. So we're back against one of these revenants here. It is very weak to air, fortunately. I think this guy is tough enough, but yeah, I would prefer to use a lightning bolt rather than a physical attack against him. I think we don't mess around too much with this guy. He means business. However, I'm assuming since he's light elemental, he's resistant to light, but doesn't outright mitigate it completely or heal from it. So that should mean Mardek can still finish him off here. That he can? Okay. Good. Because I think we saw previously that although he can't one-shot Donovan or Charla, he deals a lot of damage, no less. And like I was saying previously, I thought that Sun Axe, way back when this was a Flash game, was a very low percentage chance to drop. However, we got it the first time we faced this guy. Now the second time, we also got it. So that might mean that it has become far more common. I already forget if we saved here, but in case we haven't, let's do it again. Okay, and we actually see that this is a dead end. Although there is a door here, it's a little bit of a mind game, where it looks like we need to go through the other way because, well, there's a wall on the way to that door that we cannot go through. No secret passageways this time. We'll head down through here and see where this leads us. And I think we'll find, yes, that it is somewhat familiar territory. This is back in the first area that we went through in the Sun Temple. So we're going back up in a ways. And another save crystal? A little bit odd. I mean, we did just save, so I'm going to pass on that one. However, this time around, you know, in case you couldn't guess based on how there's one chest in the middle of the room with these dramatic pillars all the way around it. Yeah, it's a fight. And it's a mini-boss. And it's a powerful mini-boss at that. One that almost one-shot Donovan. It is a Griffin. And that Griffin is a magical beast. It has very high attack. It has very high agility, hence why it went first. It is very resistant to air. We'll actually heal to it. So Charla, you're going to be in a bit of trouble here. Very weak, however, to fire, meaning we want Donovan to be alive and kicking so that he can deal a lot of damage. Which means that I think for Charla, we're going to want to use Healing Wind on Donovan. Charla isn't going to do much damage herself. Donovan, however, will. And is it better to use magic attacks or physical attacks? Theoretically physical, actually. It has 10 magic defense and 0 physical defense, so let's go for the attack here. 200-ish damages. Not bad, but look at how much health this guy has. It's going to be a while if that's our only way of taking him out. So we could, likewise... We could also opt to use regen here, because presumably it will be a long fight, and therefore we might have enough time in which for regen to start to pay off. Let's give that a shot. I think, like we were saying previously, Donovan is actually the person we want to prioritize above all else, because he will deal more damage than Charla, and he gets targeted there, no less. And Charla, I think, is actually going to end up taking the role of healer here more so than Mardek, because Charla can still heal at full effectiveness, whereas Mardek is much more valuable to us as an attacker. So we could experiment a bit here to see whether the magic skill deals more damage than the physical one. I suspect it will deal less, but let's double check. Roughly the same, I think. Slightly more with the physical attack. Physical attack does have the chance to deal crit, however, it also has the chance of outright missing. Let's see, so we could continue to put regen status effects on. That's probably worthwhile, at the beginning at least. Then we'll start to, move into physical attacks with Mardek. Because, well, Charla, that was a little scary there. Alright, let's use the physical attacks because we do, of course, still need physical reactions. So if it's roughly equivalent, then that's probably a good tiebreaker. Mardek, maybe not as urgent, but let's put regen on you as well. And what is this? Solar Flare on Donovan. Look at that damage. He's hanging on by 7 HP. Charla, get that Healing Wind on him. Gets him all the way back up to full HP, so that is very nice. You see, Charla more than capable as a healer herself. So let's use the physical attack again. We're whittling away at the Griffin's HP. Now I think that we have regen on each character, and because Charla has been doing the healing, that frees up Mardek to be more of an offensive character here, and he will actually be the character capable of dealing the most damage. And basically, we will reserve Charla's turn for healing whoever happens to have gotten targeted in the previous round. On this occasion, it's her. And Healing Wind is actually a skill that she has not yet mastered, so that's also a reason for her to be doing that. I think it may be coming from her spear, so that's another reason to work on that now, so that we can swap over to the new spear suit. And let's continue to use the physical attacks on Mardek. Griffin getting fairly low, however, it opts to use haste, of all things. And that is definitely not what we wanted to see, because that means it will now go twice in a row. So there goes our strategy of healing off everything with Charla. She will, well, theoretically not be able to keep pace anymore. She only has 1 turn compared to the Griffin's 2. So that might mean that Mardek now gets demoted to healer. I suppose if that's a demotion at all, maybe it isn't. 1 more turn in which he can sneak in and attack here before we're probably going to need to shift gears with him. And that might be just enough because, well, we really hope you don't attack Charla here, and you do. Fortunately, you happen to pick one of your only attacks that would not have killed her there, so we lucked out, It actually means Charlotte can just heal herself. And we will not need Mardek this time around to heal. Will he deal enough damage here to take out the Griffin? I don't quite think so, not unless he crits. Well, prove me wrong. So Griffin down. Not bad at all. And here you see we got Boots of Celerity, which is a new item, as well as the Griffin Feather, also new, and some Speedy Juice too. Alright. And there you have it. Donovan has now mastered his Soul Strike ability. Let's take a quick look at what those new items are, because I think we might like some of them. Boots of Celerity give plus 10 agility, which is absurd. We were talking previously about the Belt of Movement, which I believe gave something like plus 3 or 4. So 10 is crazy, and gives the passive skill for plus 2 agility. Now, previous times, we've seen items that give plus 1 of a given attribute. This time, though, it's twice as much, plus 2. And it has the Agility Boost active skill, that is something that Charla can learn. So that might mean that if we can find a way to fit that onto Charla's character at the moment, that might be worthwhile. Charla has not done anything to master Magic Resistance Air, which might mean that the Air Pendant could be worth swapping out. Healing Wind is actually coming from the Topaz, and so she's mastered plus 1 agility from that, and she's halfway towards Healing Wind. So I'm thinking that sticks around for at least a little while longer, because as we were seeing previously, having access to Healing Wind, great way to make sure that we have a little bit more versatility with who our healers can be. Let's put on the Boots of Celerity, and swap it out for the Air Pendant this time. And let's make sure that we allocate those new skills. So Agility Boost, we'll take a closer look at that. That is active. It raises a target's agility by a few points. So, kind of similar to the boost ability that Dugan had in Chapter 2, which boosted his own strength. In this case, it's agility, and it's also something that Charla could use on other characters. So, Charla's using an item right now that gives her an absurd amount of agility. She's up to 27, so she's probably not going to need it herself, but if, say, she were to apply it to Mardek or Donovan, who are not nearly as fast, that might be helpful. Let's also look at other things, like, say, for example, plus 2 agility passive skill. So, if we go here, we find that, well, make that 29 agility for Charla. She is a super speedy character now. So that's awesome. And that is theoretically something we could set up other people with as well. It's just that Charla has additional abilities that she also wants to learn with it, so all the more reason to start with it on her. And I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up here, now that we've taken out that mini-boss there, and we'll see what lies ahead in this Sun Temple that is continuing to throw more and more twists and turns at us.